What's up guys, in today's video we are making a Mexican classic. We're making some chochoyotes. This amazing masa dumpling, essentially is what it is from the south of Mexico. You'll see these things simmering in a mole, in a broth, in beans. But today we're exploring a clear out the fridge tomato sauce that looks a little bit Italian, but all that Mexican flavor, and it's super spicy with a punch. Let's just get in the kitchen. Let's go make some. All right, so my function health results came in, and I definitely learned some things about myself and what's going on in my body. With over 100 biomarkers all tracked in one place, I promise to share with you guys some of the discoveries that I found about myself. The big thing that jumped out at me was about stress and inflammation, two things I've struggled with my entire professional career. With long shoot days and eating whatever I can, those markers were honestly not a surprise, but it was just nice to know where they were at. Then some metabolism info, which again, I never really had, and some things that I thought were issues turned out not to be issues at all, which honestly was reassuring because your boy panics. What I like about Function is it gives you insights and suggestions that feel realistic, especially for somebody like me who is a creature of habit. For me, it's just small changes, more intention with sleep, movement, and how I recover on heavy filming days like today. Nothing extreme, just working with information versus guessing and taking shots in the dark. That's why I chose Function. It's the only health platform that gives you access to this kind of data most people never see. Plus the insights to understand it. And it's backed by top health experts in their field. So thank you to Function Health for sponsoring this video. If you guys want more info, scan the QR code or hit the link down below. The first 1,000 people get a $100 credit towards their memberships. Now, let's get back to cooking. So let's talk about our chochoyotes, or chochoyones they're called sometimes, ombliguitos, which means belly buttons. It's kind of my favorite way to say it. It's very funny. I have some masa that I had left over from an event, and I was trying to think about ways to use this. Honestly, I've been using this all week. Been getting a lot of videos done, which is great. But anyway, I'm gonna put this into a bigger bowl because we're gonna mix this all together. And then we have some room temperature lard here. We're just gonna kind of cut this in. And don't be afraid to get your hands dirty. And it has to be room temperature. You want it like that texture. And of course, the recipe will be down below. If you don't eat pork products, you can always sub out beef tallow, or I even used coconut oil at a restaurant and it came out amazing. All right, I'm gonna add our salt to this, and it's time to get the hands dirty, all right? So you're just gonna kind of cut this into the masa. And your masa shouldn't be too watery. It should kind of feel, you know, you could see it's like, it's kind of sticking to my hands, but it's not too wet. If it's too wet, it's gonna affect the texture of your chochoyones. I can still see some streaks of lard in there. I'm gonna wanna make sure I'm working those in. You wanna, do one of these numbers through your fingers. But the rule of thumb is if the masa pulls clean off the bowl, you're in good shape. All right, and onto a sheet tray, I'm doing this here. So for these, you can make them as big or as small as you want. I think around this size is good. I'm saying this is about a little over 10 grams. Okay, 14 grams. I think that's fun. It's a good size. You're gonna take your pinky, and there you go. Lovely. And then you have some chochoyones forming. There you go. And you just wanna keep going with this. Eventually you'll just get a really nice feel for them. And then boom, a little indent. And be gentle with taking it off. There we go, look at that. I like cooking these for about 10 minutes. I blanch mine. I do them in water, but they can totally just cook in the sauce as well. But I think around 10 minutes is a sweet spot. And you don't want them at a rolling boil. You kind of want them at a gentle like simmer. So here we go. You can press down as hard as you'd like, but you don't want to put your finger through this thing. What I'm noticing from my dough is it's getting a little tacky around the sides here. I have some white masa harina here. This here is gonna help me tighten up this dough because I don't like what I'm seeing in these other ones. It's getting hydrated a little bit too much with the fat, and it's getting a little bit tacky. So a nice little move to do is throwing some of this on there. And this is all feel, guys. There's really no recipe for masa. It is all feel and all preference. There are recipes online for it, but it's like one of those things that you really just have to get your hands on, literally, okay? And this is just gonna soak up some of that excess moisture. Again, this masa's been in my fridge for, I think, a day or 2 days almost. So it's gonna change texture. It's gonna hydrate more. It's gonna hang out more. So these are things to look out for when you're working with fresh masa. That's from my friends over at Masienda. They have great stuff. If you go to their website, I'll link it below. But yeah, definitely go check them out. Look how dope these look. Look at these little guys. Oh, chochoyones. So for the sauce ingredients, this is kind of inspired by like a pasta. So I have some Roma tomatoes that we're gonna broil, some white onion, a little bit of chicken stock, some garlic, some Arbol chile, here, oregano, and then a little bit of olive oil. And this is a sauce I like making for these because it's kind of in between like a pasta dish and also a Mexican flavored pasta sauce, which is ideal. All right, so for the tomatoes, we're just gonna take them and broil them. We're gonna do this on high in a broiler, flipping it halfway through until it's blackened and tender. We'll peel them and then make a nice little sauce with it. All right, we're gonna preheat our pan. All right, to that pan, we're gonna add some olive oil. And while that's warming up, I'm gonna just kind of rough chop this onion here. I'm gonna go get it into like garlic size pieces because I'm gonna put the garlic in whole like this. It's gonna go in all together, and you can start this cold, no problem. Just gonna mix this around a little bit. And always add a little pinch of salt to your onion to sweat it out. Can help draw out some of that moisture. There we go. Okay, and for the chile de árbol and then the oregano, you can just chop it together for real. And they don't have to be perfect. We're gonna get this with an immersion blender too at the end, just to, you know, make sure it's nice textured. The sauce is looking good. And this is really what I'm looking for, okay? This is the litmus test. This is the garlic, okay? You want it to be tender. You can see it's sliding off and it's easy to press. At that point, I'm gonna add my fresh herbs, which is oregano, and then a little bit of chile de árbol in here. It's gonna give it a nice little pop. All right, the tomatoes are out. And what we're looking for on the tomatoes, you guys have heard me say this a bunch, blackened and tender, okay? Name of the game. So for the tomatoes, I'm just gonna wanna take the skins off of them. They should come off pretty easily, like so. All right, we're gonna put this in. Yeah, there we go. There we go. And I break this up. All right, I'm gonna add my chicken stock to this. I'm gonna shut this off and give it a little blitz. Okay, this is looking pretty good here. I'm happy with that. And then I'm gonna put this back on, and we're just gonna keep cooking this down until we're happy with the texture. Look at this. Need salt for sure. Okay. I'm gonna do like a pinch of sugar. So, I mean, we could go in straight into this here if you really wanted to, like this, but I'm gonna show you guys the blanch. All right, I have some water here, and then I have some extra chicken stock that I'm gonna put in there. You could just use straight water, but I'm just using what I have. All right, and we're gonna just bring this to a simmer. I'm gonna season it like you would pasta water. My chicken stock and my water are coming up to a low simmer. I'm gonna taste it. Yeah, nicely seasoned, not overly salted. And one by one, I'm just gonna drop these in, these little chochos. And the rule of thumb is if they float, they're done, okay? But a good rule of thumb too is to start a timer for yourself. So I'm gonna say 10 minutes on these, and we'll see how they do. All right, we're about 5 or so minutes into this, and you can already see some of these chochos coming up to the surface here. Look at these guys right there, boom. And I had not touched it up until that point, okay? So don't fuss with it too much, because the last thing you want is for them to break. And that little gentle bubble that I have going on there is what we want. We don't want it boiling, okay? So I'm just gonna pull these off. What I'm gonna do is add a little bit of oil just so they don't stick at the bottom there. Nothing crazy, just get them on a sheet tray. Try to get as much water as you can off of them. All right, there we go. A little bit more on top, and then you just move them around. So to finish this dish, what I'm gonna do, I had some zucchini that was looking not great. So what I did is actually something pretty creative. Like I took a melon baller and I got these like little cool portions off of it. I just figured it's a clean out the fridge situation. I hope you guys don't mind. So for these guys, I'm gonna drop down some neutral oil here. So we're just gonna, a little bit of oil, sear it off. You don't have to do this for the dish, but it does well with like roasted vegetables to kind of break up the monotony of eating just like that starchy stuff. Give it a little mixy mix, and I'm just gonna plop these down here. Look at that, boom. And I'm gonna switch out for my sauce now. This has been simmering behind me. Again, this is a very simple sauce here. Zucchini goes in, and if your sauce is looking a little tight, you can always add, this is the cooking liquid, and the cooking liquid smells so good. It smells like masa, it smells like manteca. Now I'm gonna add my chochoyotes back to this, okay? And I'm just gonna cook them until they're heated through. And you can see how sturdy they are now. They're like not wanting to break. You know, it's kind of like this dish is kind of like a pasta dish where you want them to kind of coat, but you also want them to thicken your sauce a touch as well. There we go. We're looking good. I'm gonna give that a couple minutes. So we're gonna have some chochoyotes. I did some zucchini in there. So the sauce is fire roasted Roma tomato. There we go. This looks good. I'm gonna go with some cheese. What do you think?
Cheese.
Yeah. This sauce is spicy, so I normally wouldn't put crema in here, but it is.
But I like crema anyway.
I know. Onion and cilantro. Yeah. Okay. Look at this. All right, let's try it out.
It's spicy.
It's got a kick. Looks Italian, tastes Mexican. How good is that?
The crema in there is saving my life because I'm a baby.
So good. Guys, this has been Chochoyotes. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you can, and hit the notification so you don't miss the next recipe. I will see you on the next one. Thank you for joining me. Peace. Bye.